Hey peeps, welcome to episode number 5 of my Health Revelation 2020 series, where I bring you along for the ride on my journey to a healthier, skinnier me. Today I'll be telling you all about this keto flu that you may have heard of, what it is, the symptoms, and how to get rid of it. Now, I'm always interested in doing research, learning new stuff, and bringing the info to you as I give accountability updates to my own weight loss journey, which will also be at the end of this episode. If there's a subject you'd like me to talk about, you can either put it in the chat right now or in the comments below if you're watching this after the fact, and I'll see to it that it gets on the list. Now, to the subject of this episode, the keto flu. So let's say you've jumped in tits first to a keto diet, brimming with excitement on the benefits that it will bring you. But it's been a few days now, and you feel like hell. You're tired, you got a headache, you're irritable, and you have a hard time focusing. I could say get well soon, but I won't. I am going to say congratulations, because you have what's referred to as the keto flu. But it's not really a flu. It's not dangerous or contagious, but it sucks nonetheless. Most people feel these symptoms during the first week or two of the keto diet, especially towards the end of that first week. Lucky for you, it's temporary, even more so than the actual flu. But once it passes, you'll find that you'll feel better and you'll have more energy than before you started. Even better, you can relieve one or more of these symptoms within 15 minutes. Now, what are the symptoms of this keto flu? There's fatigue, headache, irritability, brain fog, difficulty focusing, dizzy spells, nausea, diarrhea or constipation, muscle cramps, and sugar cravings. So, what causes this? It's actually the drastic transition that your body is going through to convert its fuel source from sugar to fat. Switching from a high carb to low or no carb diet drops insulin levels in your body. It's not only extremely healthy, but also one of the primary goals of this diet. When insulin levels are very low, your liver begins converting fat into ketones, which most of your cells use in place of glucose. You are now in what's called ketosis, where your body uses fat and ketones for its energy. However, it does take some of your organs, including the brain, some time to adapt to this new fuel. When your insulin levels tank, your body excretes more sodium in the urine, along with water, which means you're going to pee more during the first couple of weeks of the keto diet. This is responsible for some of the rapid weight loss that happens in the early stages of the diet. However, losing a ton of water and sodium is responsible for many of these symptoms of the keto flu. The body's response to keto transition is very subjective. Some people either feel perfectly fine or just slightly tired for a day or two, to the other extreme, where people are experiencing every single one of the symptoms to the point where it impacts your day-to-day, sometimes for over a week. But it doesn't have to be unbearable for anybody. Like I've stated before, symptoms usually disappear by themselves after a day or two as the body adapts. But like I've also stated, you only need to wait about 15 minutes for the most part if you follow these tips. And the first step is by far the most important, and it's often all that's needed. When you go into keto, the cells in your body use up glycogen, which is the stored form of glucose. Each molecule of glycogen is stored with 3 molecules of water. Your glycogen stores get used and the water gets flushed out. That's where the extra peeing comes from when you start the keto diet. Since the loss of salt and water is responsible for most flu issues, increasing the intake can help reduce your symptoms significantly and often eliminate them altogether. During your first few weeks of the keto lifestyle, whenever you develop a headache, lethargy, nausea, dizziness, or any other symptoms, try drinking a glass of water with half a teaspoon of salt stirred into it. 15 to 20 minutes later, the symptoms should disappear. Feel free to do this twice a day or even more if you need to. Or for something a little tastier, try drinking consommé, bouillon, bone broth, chicken or beef stock. Even stir in a spoonful of butter if you like. If you have low sodium bone broth or stock, add a pinch or two of salt. My favorite bone broth that I drink is a brand called Life. I most often drink that in the place of tea late in the evening. In addition to the salt, make sure you're drinking enough water. I'm going to be blunt here. The fatter you are, the more water you'll probably lose in the early stages of keto. Thus, the more you'll need to replace. Now, a good rule of thumb is to drink about 3 liters of fluids every day during your first week. Also, any fluids you drink during the day counts towards a total, not just plain water, so coffee and tea counts as well. Getting enough water and electrolytes will also help with diarrhea or constipation. For my electrolyte intake, I use Light Balance. It's a concentrated source of potassium, sodium, and magnesium. Now, all of these 3 minerals kind of work together in your body. One little bitty capful contains the electrolyte equivalent to 10 Gatorades. And I'll show you. Here's 10 Gatorades right there. But you won't be taking in all the sugar either. Now, you can use this stuff in your cooking, smoothies, bone broth. I use it in my bulletproof coffee in the morning. They even have a little test that you can do on your own to gauge how much electrolytes your body needs. And I'll provide a link to this information in the description below. Now, increasing salt and fluids usually resolve most of the keto flu symptoms. However, if you're still feeling like crap, try eating more fat. Due to decades of government organizations and the medical community lying to us about fat being unhealthy, fat phobia is common among people who come to eating keto. But if you drop your carb intake without upping your fat intake, your body will think it's starving and actually go into sort of a starvation mode. And you won't lose very much fat weight at all. You'll actually be more inclined to lose muscle weight because the energy stored in muscles is far easier for the body to process than the energy stored in fat. A well-balanced keto diet includes enough fat so you're not hungry after a meal. You can go several hours without eating and you have loads of energy. A common thought about eating healthy is that it's more expensive, but it's actually cheaper. I've found my grocery bill has dropped because I'm eating less overall, because I don't feel like eating as much. At the start of your keto diet, you'll have to ramp up your fat intake until your body gets used to using fat and ketones as fuel. Once you're fat adapted, you can let your appetite guide you in cutting back on fat a little bit until you can maintain a balance between hunger and being satisfied. If If none of that helps, you can actually add a few carbs in your diet for a week or so, around 20 to 50 grams per day. It might slow down your weight loss progress, however, but it can still lead you to a healthier you, especially if you've already cut out sugar and processed foods. Now, once your body is adapted, you can drop your carb intake down to below 20 grams a day. Personally, I don't care about these temporary systems, so I've been shooting for less than 10 grams a day. Hell or high water, the weight is leaving my life. Period.
Get the fuck out!
Now, changing your diet this dramatically is not an easy process on your body, hence the keto flu. And physical activity could worsen the systems. So wait until about week 4 when your energy levels increase, and you'll know when it's time. You'll be able to feel how much energy you have. You'll have more of a spring in your step. Now, you might find you may not be hungry in the first week of keto because you're nauseated or you have a headache. It'll reduce your appetite a little bit. But then others may get really hungry and then worry they're eating too many calories or too much protein. This is where I mention the Atkins diet. It begins with induction. Its strictest phase that allows for maximum fat burning and getting into ketosis quickly. On this diet, as long as carbs are 20 grams or less per day, you can eat as much of their allowed foods that you need to feel full. It's really not a good idea to focus on calories or macronutrients when you're first starting out. Forcing yourself to be hungry may worsen the symptoms. Once you're steadily in ketosis, your appetite will eventually drop and you'll naturally end up eating less. Now, don't think of the hunger feeling as need food. Think of it as need nutrition. Have you ever wondered, after eating 2 plates of Chinese takeout, you're still feeling hungry a little while later? And you think to yourself, what the hell, I ate all this food and I'm still hungry. See, your body is sensing that it's low on nutrition, so it sends the hunger signal to make you eat more. You're not necessarily in need of food, you just need something better. Now, the keto flu does not have to be the nail in the coffin for your own transition to better health. Getting healthy, if you want it bad enough, will happen. And now for my own accountability to you, a weight update. There we go. I am at 323. I don't think at this rate I'm going to make my 100-pound goals by 6 months. But
anyway, keep your chin up, you keep plugging, and good things will happen.
By the request of a viewer, next episode I will be looking at the works of Dr. Jason Fung, a Canadian nephrologist and world-renowned expert on intermittent fasting and low-carb eating, especially for treating type 2 diabetes. I thank you for sticking with me through this whole procedure, this whole process. I will see you on the next episode on or around the 15th of March. Thank you.